Good evening. This is a program of the Gay Liberation Network. I'm Bob Schwartz, and tonight's guest is Roger Fraser. Roger, like myself, is a member of the Gay Liberation Network. Tonight we're going to take a look at whistleblowers and the role that they play in exposing government criminality and spying. The spying may be authorized by secret courts and even indirectly by the United States Congress, but that doesn't mean that it's a good idea or that the people are being told anything about what's going on, and perhaps even the Congress has been lied to. We're taking a look at whistleblowers Bradley Manning and Edward Snowden. Manning is in the midst of a military court-martial after being held in military brigs for nearly 3 years, partly under conditions described by a UN official as torture. Manning turned over to WikiLeaks information on criminal behavior by the U.S. government, including the killing of journalists and other civilians in Iraq. Snowden has fled to Hong Kong as the U.S. government considers criminal charges for him. The Attorney General, who never brought any charges against bankers who were clearly involved in criminal behavior, has promised that Snowden will face criminal charges. Snowden revealed that the U.S. government has ordered the telecommunications giant Verizon to turn over phone records of millions of Verizon customers. In Congress, United States Representative Loretta Sanchez said after an intelligence briefing that Edward Snowden's revelations are only the tip of the iceberg. Apparently, the telephone data gathering operation is only a part of a vast government snooping and police state operations, as seen after the Boston bombing, when cops locked down an entire area outside Boston and barged into people's homes without warrants. This apparently is the new reality that the U.S. government has prepared for its citizens. This flies in the face of something that John Adams, a revered founding father, said back in the 18th century. Let's see, where did I put that? Here it is. John Adams said, "Liberty cannot be preserved without a general knowledge among the people who have a right and desire to know." So contrast that statement with what's going on today. I want to ask Roger, just what information did Bradley Manning release to WikiLeaks and to the press?
Well, there's a range of information, Bob. For example, in 2004, there was a U.S. order against any investigation of the Iraqi government's prisoner abuse and torture. The government is also, it was revealed by WikiLeaks that there was a cover-up of child trafficking and child abuse claims were not investigated. These claims or these abuse was committed by American defense contractors, and there was a vast cover-up of that. Exposure of lies, U.S. lies about a civilian casualty lists. For years, the U.S. denied that there was an official civilian casualty list. It was revealed in WikiLeaks that was a blatant lie committed by both the Bush and the Obama administration. Secret admissions by the United States that many of the detainees at Guantanamo are completely innocent, or just low-level operatives. And, perhaps some of the most dramatic revelations is the amount of support the United States gave to, thuggish regimes in the Middle East, Yemen, Tunisia, and Egypt. And it's been claimed that these revelations helped spark the Arab Spring of a couple of years ago.
It should be noted that WikiLeaks is the transparency website founded by Julian Assange, who is now holed up in the embassy of Ecuador in London, having been hounded there by the British and Swedish governments, certainly with the collaboration of the U.S. government. He has been a strong supporter of Bradley Manning, as has Daniel Ellsberg, who was the whistleblower from the 1970s who released the Pentagon Papers, which told the truth about the U.S. war against the people of Vietnam. So Ellsberg, I think, is 83 years old now, and he's a very vocal and strong supporter of Bradley Manning. Roger, what role do whistleblowers play in providing people with the general knowledge that John Adams referred to?
Well, our society is made up of a number of very powerful institutions like corporations and our various governments, the federal government, of course, being the largest. And these corporations and the government of the United States, very often operate in ways that induce their operatives to keep secrets. Corporations are in the business of making profit, despite their public relations efforts. They're not there to, principally to help people. They're there to make profits for a small elite number of shareholders. And therefore, they often engage in activities that are, failures, illegalities, violations of their customers' rights, and so on. And the government is also especially involved in this undeclared war on terror. I mean, the whole rhetoric is designed to provide an air of secrecy, because if it is a war, declared or undeclared, I mean, there are grounds then for saying that, if we can't aid the enemy, so on and so forth, and it lends to abuse. So whistleblowers are incredibly important because they break through this kind of miasma, and they are the ones who are able to blow the secrecy away, blow it apart, and show and tell the truth. Corporations won't do it. The government won't do it. The truth is valuable. It's absolutely essential that we know it, because we can't be responsible citizens without knowing it. They provide a huge service. Daniel Ellsberg, Bradley Manning, Edward Snowden, those people are heroes. Despite, there's a rogues gallery today of, Nixon with respect calling Ellsberg a traitor, Obama, condemning Bradley Manning even before the man went on trial, and now I suspect that they'll try to scapegoat Edward Snowden too.
Yeah, as I think I mentioned, the Attorney General, Edward Holder, who hasn't been able to find any reason to go after bankers who, defrauded the taxpayers and others, forced people out of their homes, hasn't found any reason to go after them. But the government has gone after people like Manning and numerous other whistleblowers. I believe it's true that the Obama regime has prosecuted more whistleblowers than most of his than a certain number of his predecessors combined.
Right. They're obviously scapegoating, and it's a warning. I mean, this trial on Bradley Manning that started on June 3rd is a warning to anybody else out there who might be inclined to reveal state secrets. And you bring up the Wall Street debacle and the meltdown there in 2008. Just think of this. Had there been one whistleblower working for Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley who had the courage and integrity to stand up and call these bankers or banksters on the crimes that they were committing and the subprime lending that was going on that no one knew about or no one it wasn't publicized. Had there been one whistleblower, we might have been able to avert the meltdown and the severe recession of 2009, 2010.
Let's take a call from Sandra. Go ahead, Sandra.
Hi. Okay, I'd like to get the guest perspective on the government saying that this is a method that they're using to fight terror, and by basically divulging that records are being tracked, they've made it more difficult for them to keep us safe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandra.
Yeah. This is the standard line that the means justifies the end. That we have to sacrifice our civil liberties with respect to privacy for the sake of national security. And I think there's three kind of related things here. I mean, people have a desire for privacy, and I mean, we all have records on our computers. Many of us look at porn. We don't want our neighbors. We don't want snoopers, knowing our financial records, knowing what porn sites we go to, and so on. But at the same time, there's this feeling on the part of an amazing number of Americans, polled just recently, said, "Hey, I'm perfectly willing for my records that I have on my computer to be known, if it's in the interest of national security, if it will protect possible innocent victims from terrorist attack." So that's a desire that all of us have, that some of us, at least 56% in the recent poll, an alarming number of people, are willing to see compromised. But then if the question is phrased in another way, namely as a constitutional right to privacy guaranteed by the Fourth Amendment, your right to be protected from unreasonable searches and seizures, then people are very, very, they have a different take on it. And they say, now, wait a minute, I don't want the government in particular reading my emails. So depending on how this question is framed, people are ready to compromise to a certain degree, but certainly not to the degree of giving up our basic right, constitutional right to privacy. Because face it, without that privacy, two things can't happen. You can't have a functioning democracy when the government keeps secrets from the people. I mean, this government in a democracy is not an alien foreign body, separate from the people, with its own interests that could be possibly opposed to the people. In a democracy, the government belongs to the people. It should be accountable to the people, Bob. There should be oversight. There should be transparency. Okay? Now, there's another issue. what about the government's right or duty to keep information during wartime from from citizens, from the people, in the interests of protecting the security of the country? Well, I say that okay, in wartime, perhaps there have to be tactical reasons to keep certain things private. But remember, this global war on terror, as the rhetoric is used, is it's not a war against countries. It's a war against people designated by the president, sometimes with the consent of Congress. The president can name anybody as an enemy combatant. They can name any. It doesn't have to be a country. These people can be anywhere. They can be walking the streets of Rome or London. They can be in Pakistan. They can be in Yemen. They can be the victims of drone attacks. So, as I say, where's the oversight? Where's the accountability of the president with his kill list? His making those kinds of decisions. I say in a democracy, ultimately, there is no irreducible right or duty that the government has to secrecy. There can't be.
Okay.
Let me one other thing. Think about this, folks. Think about what a prison is. A prison has bars designed to keep people in, but there's another function that bars have, and not so much the bars, but the space between them. No privacy in a prison. Prisoners don't have privacies. They're demeaned and devalued because a guard can stand and look through the spaces at whatever that prisoner is doing. Do we want to live in a society, Bob, that is in effect a cell where the bars keep us in, but even just as importantly, the space between the bars gives the guard the right and the opportunity to observe every detail of your life in that cell?
Very good point. We do have another caller. Please hang on. We need to do some announcements right now, so let's do that. Before you is our web address, gayliberation.net. Please go there for more information about our organization. Mike Madigan has been a major, perhaps the major obstacle to the realization of marriage equality here in Illinois. So we are going to join others in demanding that he take action with his Democratic caucus, the supermajority, to get this marriage bill done. 12 noon this coming Saturday at 95th and Pulaski. Also, a major obstacle to our rights has been Francis George, the Archbishop of Chicago. We will protest Cardinal George this coming Sunday at 6:30 p.m. at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church, which is located on West Belmont. It's between Halstead and Clark Street. On the day of decision, we don't know what day this will be, but at 7 o'clock when the Supreme Court makes its decision on the marriage cases, we will gather at Halstead and Roscoe in the Lakeview neighborhood. Supreme Court Day of Decision. Gay Pride Parade is scheduled for Sunday, June 30th. Gay Liberation Network will be there to support Bradley Manning, as we're doing in tonight's program. We will also be advancing the call for marriage equality. 11 a.m. Sunday, June 30th, Broadway and Somerdale Avenues. That's near the Target store
Sunnyside.
on Broadway. Pardon?
Sunnyside Avenue. Yeah.
Sunnyside. Sorry, my mistake. Okay. If Pat is still on line 3, go ahead, Pat.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Pat. You're on the air.
Yes. That's kind of naive question here, but Bradley Manning is gay, and he's also a whistleblower. Now, this other guy that's in Hong Kong, Ed, I don't know if he's gay or not, but he is a whistleblower. Do you support? Do you folks support him as well as Bradley, even though he may or may not be gay?
Yeah. Good question. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ed Snowden is not gay. In fact, he's got a girlfriend in Hawaii. And let me just say a word about Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden is led a very comfortable life. He lives with his girlfriend in Hawaii. He earns $200,000 working $200,000 per year working for the NSA, the National Security Agency, one of the most clandestine and secretive organizations in the world. He's a former technical assistant to CIA, and he works for a defense contractor called Booz Allen Hamilton. Okay? This guy has everything going for him. He has every reason to remain silent and not say a word, Just keep silent, collect his $200,000 and live a very comfortable life. He's refused to do that. And of course he's moved to Hong Kong. Why? Well, he fears extradition. He realizes that telling the truth, exposing this government surveillance, massive surveillance of communication networks and providers and phone carriers and so on, is going to cost him his job, his career, and perhaps never being able to come back to the United States. Yet this guy is willing to sacrifice that, for what? I'll quote. Listen to this, and then ask yourself, is this guy a rogue, or is this guy a hero? I quote, "I can't in good conscience allow the U.S. government to destroy privacy, internet freedom, and basic liberties for people around the world with this massive surveillance machine that they're secretly building." And that's a direct quote. End of quote. Okay? Now, this guy has sacrificed a lot. We need to support people like Edward Snowden. These are the heroes. These are the people drawing attention to this, as he calls it, this massive surveillance machine. And unless we take it apart, brick by brick, and rebuild our democracy so that it's transparent and there's oversight and accountability, we're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble. We need to honor Edward as much as we do Bradley Manning.
Remember what United States Representative Loretta Sanchez said after she emerged from a briefing on intelligence, on the intelligence apparatus, that what Snowden has revealed is only the tip of the iceberg. Since 9/11, billions of dollars have been spent to erect a massive spy operation to arm local police and other police authorities to the teeth with all kinds of high-tech equipment, and there's a lot more that I think is going to come out here, and Assange has suggested as much. We only have about 2 minutes left. Briefly, I would like to talk about what happened when the Grand Marshals in San Francisco decided that they were going to make Bradley Manning one of the Grand Marshals for this year's Pride Parade out there, and then the head of the Pride Committee squashed it.
Yeah, Bob, this was outrageous. In April, he was made Grand Marshal by the 2013 Pride Board out there in San Francisco. And within 2 days, a woman named Lisa Williams, who is the board president, and also, don't think this is just incidental, is also a Democratic Party operative, reversed that decision and announced that the San Francisco Pride Board would not be honoring Bradley Manning. Now, This is just, it's outrageous, and there's been protest against it, and I'm proud to say that in Chicago we're going to have that massive sign that you just saw. Come on out, join us that day.
Absolutely.
Walk with us and honor Bradley Manning and show that Chicago is not going to cave to these politicians the way, and I don't think San Francisco will either, because I believe they're going to have a
There's
strong
going to be
contingent.
plenty of protest out there.
Absolutely.
All roads lead to Madigan. Please join us in our protest tomorrow at Mike Madigan's office, 6500 South Pulaski, Saturday, tomorrow, June 15th at 12 noon. Cardinal Francis George has been an outspoken opponent of equal rights, equal civil rights for LGBT people. So we will be protesting him Sunday at 6:30 at Mount Carmel Church on West Belmont. On the day the Supreme Court hands down its decisions on marriage equality, there will be a response at 7 p.m. at Halsted and Roscoe Street. So stay tuned. Check with our webpage. Gay Pride Parade, Sunday, June 30th. Join our contingent. As Roger said, we will be supporting Bradley Manning here in Chicago, and we will be advocating loudly for marriage equality and pointing a finger again at Mike Madigan. 11 a.m., Sunday, June 30th, at Broadway and Sunnyside Avenue near the Target store. The next GLN meeting is 7 p.m. Wednesday, July 3rd at the Burger Park Cultural Center, which is located at Granville and Sheridan. Gay Liberation Network can next be seen on CAN TV, 6:30 Friday, July 12th. Thank you for joining us this evening.